Everything meaningful is built twice. First in strategy, then in public.
But the public only sees the second part. They see the launch, the color palette, the shiny new homepage.
Your rollout plan is very important because if you don't communicate well, it doesn't matter what you did. If people don't understand, you'll continue to define your brand
As whatever it was before.
Exactly, or whatever it is for them.
What they don't see is the build, everything that actually goes on behind the scenes. All the questions, all the misalignments, and the week spent trying to get 2 sentences exactly right.
Our vision statement is to create opportunity because lack of talent is not the problem.
DreamStart Labs builds digital tools for savings groups, helping them manage money, keep records, and connect to formal financial services.
Their reach spans across continents, communities, and systems that were never really designed for everyone.
And after years of the work speaking for itself, a new question showed up.
How should this work be understood?
That's where branding comes in.
The essence of rebrand or branding is to
Communicate something to people.
to establish that perception that you have about your brand. And if you don't communicate it right,
Then how will they get it?
then it's meaningless actually.
This is Behind the Build with Content Connect.
And for our first episode, we're unpacking the anatomy of a strategic rebrand.
Because the hardest part of a rebrand isn't the rebrand itself, but what comes after. Hey guys, welcome back and welcome to something a little bit new. If you've been here for a minute, we know what we're all about, right? Content Connect, we spotlight brilliant minds behind the content you see every day, right? We highlight the brilliant people in the creator economy. But a lot of times that's not enough and we don't get a chance to go deeper, to go within, behind the build of what these people are doing every day, right? You see wonderful campaigns, you see events like Founders Connect, you see things like the Rebrand by Rainers, by amazing brands all around the place, and you don't really know what went behind that process, what it took to build these amazing results. And that's why we created this series, right? Behind the Build with Content Connect. Here we're going to talk to creators, people in marketing, content, in the creator ecosystem as a whole, and go behind what it took to execute some of the most impressive endeavors out there today. And today, in this wonderful episode, we're starting with DreamStart Labs, no pun intended there. And with me here is the delightful Omotola, and she's going to walk us through the anatomy of a strategic rebrand. But yeah, before we get to all of that, who are you? I mean, you're Omotola, but who are you really? I've not seen this face before. Assume you don't know me. Who are you and what do you do at DreamStart Labs?
Okay, hi guys. I didn't hear anybody clapping, but I'm just gonna assume. So I'm Omotola Sanni, and I lead marketing and communications at DreamStart Labs.
I love it.
Yeah. So DreamStart Labs is a social impact financial technology company dedicated to advancing financial inclusion, especially for people that have been excluded from the formal financial economy, so to speak.
Okay.
And our reach is currently we're in Africa, Latin America, and Asia, and we are waiting to explore the rest of the world. We are coming, but basically what DreamStart Lab does is to create technology that gives room for talent to grow, because lack of talent is not the problem. Lack of opportunity is. So what we are doing at DreamStart Labs is creating technology that empowers, and starting with the savings group ecosystem. So we are creating products that help digitize the processes of savings group, connect them to financial services, and just give them access to fly and reach financial freedom. So basically, we cater to NGOs that work directly with this savings group, and then connect with FSPs, financial service providers, that want to give financial products to savings group to improve their quality of life.
Okay, I love it. Really interesting explanation. Now, I'm a financial expert, but for those that don't understand, I understand. It's not for me. But let's sort of walk through the full funnel, right? So, social impact, fintech, right? Savings groups,
Mm-hmm.
impact through technology. So
Mm-hmm.
let's walk through those funnels, right? So somebody, let's say, in one of these orgs or places where we still do group savings the old-fashioned way. People contribute. We have this ledger, we fill in, and all of that. Like, walk me through, like, what do you guys help to do with that process, and like how from there do we get to access to FSPs and all of that?
Okay, so I'm going to start from the beginning, where
In the
it all
beginning.
started from. So it started in a living room in California, where Enric, our current CEO, asked somebody from, I think, Cameroon. He came to America for something, and he was homeless, and he asked him for a couple weeks. And then Enric was shocked at the difference in realities, like, oh my God, you mean you guys don't have this?
Yeah.
Oh my, and things like that. And then said person, let's call him DG or something, was talking about the financial struggles back home, and Enric and his wife Pia decided to help DG. And then DG went back to Cameroon, and then DG kept calling back to ask for financial help for, his family, his friends, and things like that. And Enric and his wife Pia were always so eager to help. But they had this conversation with themselves, and they were like, okay, we have this group of people who keep coming to us for help. So how do we help on a larger scale?
Yeah.
So they created an MFI called Elevate Africa. So basically to give people financial loans, and just with little to no interest, and also with that most of them are unbanked. So you really do not have their details or credit history or things like that.
Yeah.
So this was built strategically to help these people.
So to cater to the unbanked.
Yeah, exactly, in Cameroon. Enric and Pia ran through Elevate Africa for a year or two, and they realized that, okay, so giving these people this money, and so people just run away, and nothing is happening, and they can't really see if it's translating into the quality of their life, if they're really
actually using it for
something impactful or something. Like, they couldn't measure their impact, so it just felt like they're just putting money.
You're helping, but you're not sure it's actually impacting.
Exactly. So Enric went to church, and at church he met Wes Wesson. He's our late CEO and one of the founders of DreamStart Labs. And then they had a conversation, and they're both Silicon Valley veterans, and they were like, I want to help. I've been in this space for so long. Wes was in like finance, marketing. He has, headed so many Fortune 5 companies, and Enric is a tech guy building.
So you have the technical co-founder, you have person with the experience operating. Okay.
Exactly. So they decided that, okay, yes, we want to create impact, and there was just this finance or the financial space alignment, and then both of them decided, they packed their bag, left California, and went to Tanzania.
Okay.
They had no vision or anything. They're just like, we're going to go to Tanzania and just go and explore and see what's going on there. So they landed in Tanzania, and they came across the VSLA model, Village Savings and Loan Association model.
Okay, that's a mouthful.
You have to really remember what that meant. So, and they were wondering what it was, because it was strange to them. And VSLA methodology is just like group saving, agile, like we call it in Nigeria. So they were fascinated that, you mean people come together and save in groups, and then they give themselves loans, and then they give themselves back the interest, like literally empowering themselves. So they stayed in Tanzania studying that methodology and seeing how they can, help these people help themselves, basically. And
so like how to translate that to digital.
Into technology, which is what they know how to do. Right. And that gave birth to DreamSave.
DreamSave, okay.
DreamSave, yeah. So they stayed in Tanzania for almost 2 years studying. Yeah. studying the methodology, working with this savings group members that they meet, sleeping and eating with them, going to their meetings, seeing how they run their meetings and whatnot. And that informed DreamSave. Like every single, if you go through the DreamSave application, every single screen was pulled out of their paper ledger because that's what they use, right? So, and during the implementation stage, you would see some of our old DreamStart Labs workers would sit with these members and then show them a screen and ask them like, so what do you think about the screen? Like when you see the screen, what do you do?
User-informed design.
Exactly.
Ground up.
So I'd say that we don't build products for people. We build it with them.
With people, yeah.
Yeah, so that's like the beauty of the work we do at DreamStart Labs. I can't remember your question again.
No worry, you've answered it in a long way, but you have answered it. You have answered
I was like, oh, so what's the question?
No, it's pretty much like explaining what you do, and the next follow-up was supposed to be like, what does DreamStart Labs do? But like you've sort of given like a really long but detailed explanation into like what you guys do, how you operate across like the layers. But like the missing thread there was actually, I understand, or I understand it. I'm just helping you people here, relax. But yeah, like we understand like the flow from, getting them into savings groups and all. But like, what's the thread between that and getting them access to FSPs and connecting that thread to, the general view of banking the unbanked, right? Like, how do these people get access to the help without having traditional things like credit history, etc., etc.?
Okay, I think I'll have to continue my story. So,
Please do.
So yeah, so we started building DreamSave, and of course we're not building DreamSave for building's sake, because we wanted to empower people, wanted to give them access and opportunity. And what do these savings group members lack is lack of access to financial services, like corporate banks and things like that. They don't have access because they're mostly unbanked, and even the ones that have some sort of registration don't have like things like credit history, like you mentioned, or collateral or things like that banks would ask. The beauty of, because DreamSave is a record keeping app for savings group.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so they use it to run their meetings, to track their loans and things like that.
So does that
but
serve
the
as, like,
unique selling proposition of DreamSave is the fact that they get to build credit history
through like those activities.
Yes,
on the,
yeah, through the activities. So it tracks everything, their repayment rates, how much they save, how fast they repay certain
That's actually
bills.
smart.
Yeah.
I spinning might not think of it, man. But yeah, that's like, it makes sense.
So this data we feed into DreamInsights, which is what NGO partners use to track the performance of this group and make informed decisions. So because our founders are big dreamers, they want to change the world on a global scale, and they know they can do that working with groups directly, because that would be very limiting. They decided to, okay, so how do we do this? So we're going to work with people that work with these people.
Okay.
So our point of contact is the NGOs that work with these people.
Okay, so expanding your reach.
Yeah, exactly. So because NGOs are the ones who create or that put people in savings group and say, okay, we want to help you. But so how do we help these NGOs like really impact?
Helping the NGOs to help the people.
So we created insights as well, which is where they get to track the performance of the group. They see like demographics data, financial data, they see personal savings goal, like things that they used to measure like quality of life beyond just the financial data, like repayment, loan, and things like that. They even get to see things like, how many dependents they have.
Okay,
like
under each person.
Yeah, imagine you have like 5 kids and you're saving 200 naira every week. How does that translate?
Yeah.
So they use that to really measure the impact of their groups. If they need to like step in to see,
okay, what's going on here?
Yeah,
How can we help?
And then just a major problem, because they're saving, but there's so much they can save, right? Some of them have businesses like farming, small businesses, and they need like a little push financially, which they don't have access to. So how do we give them that access? So we link them, that's linkage to FSP. And that's
And you
what
now
we are doing
leverage
with
like your insights, all that
exactly
credit
our
history
data.
data to feed back into.
Exactly.
That's
So
smart.
that's what we are building currently with DreamLink, because it's not a small fit. It's big. So
It's an entire ecosystem.
yeah, exactly what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. So we're building a savings group
Okay.
ecosystem at DreamStart Labs.
I feel like we should have like an applause somewhere like
Yes, guys.
like not just like for like what you're building, but like obviously you need marketing, so you need to know how to explain it. But like to be able to explain that and make it out, it takes a lot. So yeah, you do know your stuff, and we have like a solid foundation on like what DreamStart Labs does and how you help people, the social impact component, and all of that. And I think you guys are doing an amazing job. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty of our masterclass, the rebrand, the strategic rebrand, right? You're dissecting it bit by bit. And I don't know, I always like to start like these types of things with like a why. Like, how did you guys know that you needed to rebrand? What was broken? What, maybe I won't use the word broken, but like, I mean, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. So something something was definitely like, maybe we're not communicating this properly. Maybe we're not, something was a bit off. So what informed the rebrand?
I've been in this space for so long, and
How long?
10 years in every, guys.
10 years, okay, 10 years.
Yeah, we've been in this space for so long, and most of the work our partners do for us, our work speaks for us, because we've not really explored any form of grand scale marketing. Well, before I joined the company. Anyways.
important distinction.
So it was just like, oh, so this is DreamStart Labs, these are products, and then it was word of mouth. So this NGO will say, oh, I know this company doing something really good, their product is really good, explore this. So it was more like partners, coming to us, and we didn't really shout about our product.
So outbound stuff, essentially.
Exactly. So it was just people coming to us, and I think majorly we had just gotten to that point, that level of maturity where our product is good, the quality of our work, the standard of excellence has been established. So so what next, I would say. And the key thing would be me joining the organization, of course, because
shameless flow, just I'm there.
So prior to me joining, there was no marketing department per se, so it was just people doing different things, and then they would just take some pictures and say they went to the field, and that's it. So when I joined the organization, marketing department created, but what is the foundation of marketing really? Branding. Yeah. So I just had to like survey and audit, know that this is DreamStart Labs brand. And what is a brand? Brand is like an idea, right? It's a concept, the experience that people get when they interact with your product, people, and things like that. We had a good brand, because when people speak about DreamStart Labs, oh my God, yeah.
So you have good experience with what you're doing
exactly. Great product, great things like that. But who are you guys exactly? Are you guys an NGO? I'm not really sure what you do, or a philanthropy. Are you just giving money to people? So those are the things that were not really clear. Even on some marketing assets, you would see it wasn't clearly defined. So a lot of people were confused. So
like they appreciated who you were or who you are. They benefited from like the things you've done, but they didn't really know who you are at the same time.
Exactly. They're like, we use their product, but we're not sure. Maybe they are just an NGO that has a product, or whatnot. So I spoke with my colleagues, right? Just trying to get the experience when they interact with partners, what comes up. And then it's the same thing, like, oh yeah, they like us, but they don't really know who we are. So we had to go back to the drawing board
to make it easier, like to convey that.
To define the brand.
Okay. That's a big gap. I feel it's an interesting problem to have. Like, you nail down product, you nail down, the experience, right? People are happy, you have case studies, you're doing impactful work. But like, none of the people that have been impacted accurately explain like who you are. I think they're an NGO. I think they do. I think maybe.
Or they say that, or they say they are a tech company, but I really think they're an NGO.
Well, okay, fair.
Yeah, something like that is
Yeah.
what, even like when some of our customer success representatives interact with partners, and just the way they relate with them, right? You know, the way you relate with support, like
Yeah.
they're there, I need this thing and this thing. They'll be talking like they're talking to their colleagues, like just because they want to believe in an NGO just like them. So just that perception is something that we needed to correct
To change,
and just really define our positioning to say, hey, you guys, this is who we are. And how do we do that? By defining our identity and just branding everything to reflect that.
that identity.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So we have the why, we have what was, I won't really say broken, but we have what was broken.
Nothing was broken, guys.
Nothing was broken. Nothing in the product, however. Okay. But now I want to explore the how. So you figured out the problem, even if you don't want to say there was a problem. Me, I see a problem. You figured out the problem, but now, you know, what's the how behind it? Like, how did you start pulling all those threads together? What was the foundation? How did you start? Walk us through the rebrand step by step. I mean, I might interject at a couple of places, but like, it's your show now, so go on.
It started with discovery, and I think I already spoke a bit to that. Just discovering that there was a disconnect. Yeah. So just speaking with my colleagues, right, and just assessing what we had already, our website, our social media, or the lack of it, and just interaction with partners and things like that. And after discovering that, okay, there is a problem here, so how do we solve it? And that goes to like definition, right? Defining what the solution is, or how to solve that solution. So I had because our CEO Henrik, the tech guy, so I had a sit down with Eric one of those days. I mean, immediately I joined the organization, I'm like, I'm gonna change this whole thing. You guys sit down. So I had a sit down with him, and I was telling him that, okay, so we need to do this. We need to define our identity. Who are we? What is our mission, vision? I mean, I know that we have this in thin air that, okay, so we are this social impact financial technology company, but we don't have it solidified or written down somewhere. So I told him that we needed to, start with that. And he was like, yeah, Omotola, I hear what you're saying. I see that's important. Go do your thing and whatnot. But obviously, I didn't do it alone. So,
But it's
yeah,
good that
I
you got
started
sign
with...
off from the very start. I'm like, sort of like, I'm a student here, so I'm like sort of taking notes as it's like what I'm hearing is, and I don't sound like a consultant, but what I'm hearing is the first thing you did was sort of get sign off on like the broader idea of like, hey, I think this is broken, but like, do you have sign off and understanding from the people at the top that like, do we agree that this is broken? Like, so you got that understanding first.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly that. Yeah, we needed to fix it. And Eric was saying, yes, I'm saying this in his voice, Omotola, we need to fix this. So I know there's a problem and the ball is in your court. So yeah, I had to like, I think that's where the old story I told you came into. And then Eric was telling me the old story of how like DreamStart Lab came to be, and just trying to define who we are.
You really internalized that story. Because even the way you were telling it was like as if it was your story, as if you're like the one that went to Tanzania for 2 years. But yeah.
So Enric said, oh yeah, like he knows what DreamStart Labs is supposed to be. He knows what the mission is, what the vision is, what our values are. So yeah, he went to do his homework. I went to do my homework. I mean, my job is to translate what everybody's saying about the brand, what everybody feels about the brand. And then he went, and then I also had couple talks or interviews with other people, because something about this process is that you can't put words into people's mouths. Like you go meet them and say, so our brand is this, what do you think? No, that's not how it works. Like you...
It's like you're already influencing like what they're going to say next.
Exactly. So you ask them what
do you think about the current brand?
What do you think our mission is, right?
Okay.
where do you think we are going to, and what values do you see yourself embodying every day you work here? So everybody went to do their homework, and I had a meeting with Enric. He came with something, I came with something, and we were aligned with those things, right? And then the rest of the exec team came back, and everybody was basically saying the same thing, right? When it comes to mission, okay, so we're a social impact technology company, and we want to create more products for the siblings group ecosystem. We want to continue to create access and opportunity, right? And then these are our values, so standard of excellence, humanity, and things like that. Those are the things that we stand for, and having fun at work as well is very important for us. And everybody agreed to that, and it was so great that it was so organic. It's not like, people are pulling off each other's answers. And then when we all agreed, I was like, okay, yes, we have our core, right? We know what we are. We just need to really define this by writing this down.
Yeah. To sort of cement it.
Yeah. So this took a couple weeks.
Just that first phase?
Yeah.
How many weeks would you say it took?
It took like 6 weeks for us to get from ideation, okay, you guys can think about it, to getting a statement.
Wow, that's 6 weeks. That's a lot of time.
Yes.
Do you think it could have been shorter?
Huh?
Do you think it could have been shorter? Or do you think there's a way you could have sped it up?
No, it could have. No, not for us. It could.
Okay.
Yeah, that process was needed because 10 years of DreamStart Labs. I mean, it was 9
Fair
years
enough.
at that point. So we had.
Yeah, you need a while to distill all of that
Yeah.
into. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then we had other things working. People were working on other
people
things as
have
well.
jobs.
Yeah. So it's not like they're sitting down and thinking vision of me. Yeah. So and we were very particular about the statement. It was not just we wanted a statement, right? We wanted a statement that feels like us, like DreamStart Lab, that speaks to our positioning, who we are, and things like that. And it was very organic. And the value statement, I must say, came from Enric himself. And
As you should.
yeah, it came from him. And I was thinking I was going to refine that, like English, right? Let's polish this. And when it came, if you see our value statements, they are very unique statements. They are not the standard statement you see anywhere. So we build the excellence, something like that. Like you can see the explanation that goes into like the statement. And then it came to me with the statement, and it was like, oh, Omotola, you can refine and do whatever you want. And I was like, no, we're not going to do that. I think this is perfect because you just spoke everybody's mind and you captured it in a very raw way that any refinement will not do justice to. And then we had our statement. I was happy. Until compliance came and said, you guys
I sensed the bot coming.
You guys, there is this word, something, blah, blah, blah. We had to change some words, but I'll get back to that later. Anyways, we had our statement.
I feel that you really love compliance.
So we got our statement. Our foundation was set because that's the foundation.
That's what informs
every other thing.
Design choice, copy choice. Like that was, and it took you 6 weeks to go from, I think there's a problem, to raising the issue, having the meeting, getting that acceptance that, okay, yes, there's a problem, go fix it. So giving, as you said in your own words, your team homework to do, and to finally get into the point of having that foundational statement that can guide everything. That was 6 weeks.
Yeah, that was 6 weeks. Getting the statement.
6 weeks.
Yeah. So then I started.
Don't think I'm rebranding anytime soon.
So I started working on the verbal and visual identity to inform the brand guideline. Already have our statements. So basically, what's our tone of voice? What's our brand personality?
All of that built off of that foundational
Exactly.
statement. How long was that statement? Is it like a one-pager? Is it like how the statement, the foundational statement?
It was like 2 sentences.
So wait. So
yeah, it took 6 weeks to
for
come
2
up.
sentences. like in copywriting, they always say like is the shorter piece of like that takes a while. 'Cause you start from you be cutting, you cut it. Wow, 6 weeks for 2 sentences.
Yeah.
That is essentially the bedrock of DreamStart Labs today.
Yeah.
Okay. See, wrapping my head
And that
around it.
statement says, our vision statement is to create opportunity because lack of talent is not the problem. That's like the foundation of the statement.
To create access, create opportunity because lack of talent is not a problem. It's access to opportunity.
Yeah, that's the problem. So that's not the statement exactly, but that's the meaning of the statement. At least you know that we are the one that came up with it, even if you don't.
We'll probably get that from here and like sort of put it up alongside this explanation. But that's interesting. So okay, hey, we had the foundational statement, and
so we're working on the verbal identity and the visual identity. So verbal identity, all good. Visual identity, you know, your logos and things like that. And guys, we're fintech. Please, why is your font like this? I'm sorry, no offense to other people that do basic things. So, but yeah, so I had to take a look at our current assets, like
so like an audit.
Yeah, the logos, our color palette, things like that, and just there was also a disconnect. We have a company logo, the DreamStart Labs logo, and then we had this other product.
We had logos for those products.
We didn't have logos for those products.
Okay.
So, but they used the DreamStart Labs icon.
For those other products?
Yes. They didn't have logos though. But when you go to the application, you will see the DreamStart Lab icon, and you go to the portal, you will see the DreamStart Lab icon, and
that's
it's
really
like
confusing.
Interesting, right? But it's easy for them. For us, guys, I'm part of them. So it was easier for us, I think, because we didn't have a lot of marketing. It's not like we had news or a space somewhere where we're telling the whole world that, okay, so this is DreamStart Labs, this is our product. It was easier then because anybody that sells DreamSave, they know DreamStart Labs because the icon.
Association.
But then, practically and branding wise, that's not great. Yeah. So every product needs its unique identity, right? So I had to like work on that as well, creating product logos from the company logo. So the product logos that we came up with was drawn from our company.
Taking particular elements and adjusting it for the product.
Because our company logo has this droplet feel to it. So all of our product logo has a droplet container.
Okay, so that's like the core concept?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we did that. Me and design, my friends now, but
how many times did you fight with design? Just like a random pivot?
No, we are best friends. We are best friend. Ranga, you're my G for life. So
I'm guessing you fought with them a lot.
So yeah, we came up with our product logos. We had colors. We had like color palettes that we used, but they were not defined. And what we are trying to do is not to change. We're not trying to change anything. We're trying to define them because we had colors and they were really great colors: sun yellow, coral red, and a stone gray. And
I've never heard of stone gray. Interesting.
Yeah, and teal green. So we had those colors and they really complemented themselves really well. So we had to like define those colors. And also, if we are going to...
So when you say define, do you mean like, okay, these are our standard palettes?
Like these are standard palettes. These are the primary colors. These are the secondary colors.
Sort of like to
and this is how they
reinforce it across board. Okay.
And design-wise, these are how you use these colors. Because you can't just fuse the colors together and say, I want to use this.
Like a proper brand kit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like a brand guideline. So this is how you use this color. So we created different variations of those colors, those core colors, because we want we are fintech, right? We need the best design visually, the most visually appealing colors. So design team came up with those colors and how to fuse them together. We add that, and then we just wrapped up the whole visual identity, and then we had our brand guideline. We had our brand guideline. The foundation is set.
Mhm.
So what do we need to do next? Assets,
Yeah.
brand assets. We need to start creating assets. What asset do we have? Guys, we barely had any assets, guys. So the only assets we had was the website, and amen to that. Great website. So we had our website and nothing else. So yeah, I started working because we are saying that we are a state-of-the-art financial technology company
So your site cannot be
with
slacking.
Silicon Valley veterans as founders.
Yeah.
Our website has to speak that.
speak
I mean,
that.
you say you create tech and your website doesn't look like you create tech.
Yeah.
So I had to go back to the drawing board, doing a lot of research of the look and feel. First of all, I know that you're gonna do copy, you're going to do all of those things.
Like, how does it look first?
Yeah, but how does it? How
Like layout.
exactly? How is it going to look? What type of website are we going for? Is it like a white website or a dark mode website? Things like that. Where is the word moving? So we did that foundation, ideation, things like that, while also developing other brand assets. Like after we're done with the logos, our templates, work templates, things like that.
So how
our
long-
signature.
I'm trying to like do the timeline. So first 6 weeks, then the next phase of like getting your brand kit. How long did that take?
I think our brand kit came out 10 weeks because we
Is that 10
created
weeks
assets
separate or from
all
the remain?
together. No,
Okay,
no,
so
no.
6 weeks for like the initial phase, then 4 weeks for the second phase. That's
Yeah,
okay. Wow,
yeah,
10
yeah,
weeks.
yeah.
Okay, go on. I was thinking like 10 weeks for the.
No,
Okay,
no,
what's
no.
going on?
So yeah, 10 weeks. I think the verbal and visual identity took like a month.
Yeah,
Right, yeah,
fair
to,
enough.
to finish up. So 10 weeks after, we started creating assets. I mean, we were already creating assets because we had some marketing stuff to do. But then we created assets. We had all those things I mentioned, the signature, things like that, created. So the website, which is, for me, I don't know if any other person would disagree out there. I think that the website is the biggest asset that can embody your identity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's usually the first point of contact for like any business.
For
so,
any
okay.
business. So that was like the biggest. We had to get it right. We had to position it right. And it had to look good, guys. Because please.
Because please.
So started working on the PRD for the website. And in some cases, for marketing, right? Marketing exec really do not work on PRDs. But because I have a product management background and I had a vision for what I wanted the website to look like. So working on the PRD.
So those of us that we don't have product management background, what should we now do?
You have to work with your PM. If your PM says, I want the drop down here, you agree with your PM because your PM knows best, guys. Okay. So I worked on the PRD, worked with design, making the process really seamless for design to be able to visualize by giving them examples.
Yeah. It's just about to
giving them examples, and it's not like example like look at this website. Examples of each section. Like this section.
This is how I want it to be.
Exactly.
Okay.
And those things we did, and then we're done with the PRD. We started design. Ranga, shout out to you. Designer ever. So it started with the sketches, and then we had our first version of the website, which we had to iterate on multiple times.
How many times?
A couple.
How many is a couple? This will go on to like get a figure.
3 times.
Okay.
Yeah. 3 times before we landed on the. Let me just say 2 times. Before we landed, because we were just very specific, because the feedback were very specific. I think that if you're working on any branding asset or just development, when you are very specific with what you want, you don't leave room for people to guess. You get your work done faster, right? So first phase of design was done. Second phase was design was done.
So that's 10 weeks. Then this third phase of like actually
So
prototyping.
Everything, I think the design took 6 weeks.
Okay. Well, now we're on 16 weeks.
Yeah.
Total.
I think it took 6 weeks. I believe it took 6 weeks.
Okay.
But where I tracing behind the scenes when development started,
Yeah.
like our designer was still creating new screens, but
Okay.
yeah, but
you guys got to at least a V1 after that 16
we're
weeks.
like, yes, this is it, and then development started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
What are we talking about exactly, guys?
I mean,
Because it feels like I'm just, I don't even know what I'm telling you. Am I making sense?
That's the vibe. Like, you are making sense. Like, that's why I keep drawing back to like, okay, we're at 16 weeks now. You've done alignments from top down. You've done your brand kits. You've already done like prototyping, and you have, you know, your screens. Now we're at 16 weeks, and you want to start developing the website itself. Okay, so go on.
I just want to iterate that once you have your brand guideline, I think everything else falls into place.
Yeah.
And that you shouldn't use the timeline for us as a
benchmark.
As a benchmark, because
not everybody can spend 6 weeks on.
Yeah, and because we are a big organization, kind of. We
I don't know what to make of that. What do you mean I'm big, but kind of?
Kind of. We're building different things at the same time. We're updating our product, piloting DreamLink. We're doing proof of concept for DreamLink,
so there are concurrent projects running.
Yeah, so running at the same time.
So it's not as if like everything paused.
Exactly. Nothing paused for the
rebrand. So that would have been like a bit faster. Okay.
So exactly. So I'm just telling you guys that
once
you have your brand guideline, I'm sure everything else will fall into place. And you know, we even have people build websites 2 weeks these days. I don't know.
His website and his websites, but yeah, fair.
Yeah. But so we add that. We started working on development, iterating. It's a WordPress site. So pretty easy to translate.
There's lots of documentation about WordPress, like it's here.
So we started working on that. Then after like 6 weeks, we're done with the first version of the website, the initial version design created. And then we took a look at that.
This is what we're talking about. This is a dev process, like the development. Okay, where you can go on. So
that ended like mid-January. First version of the website.
Okay.
Yeah. So we add that, and then we started updating pages. By the end of January, we had our website.
All pages updated.
All pages updated, but like, you know, obviously there's going to be feedback. What's this arrow doing here? What's the content? Why is this capitalized? At least a
V1 that like
yeah. And then I was like, okay, we are ready. And I forgot to mention, because this is really important, because I think that when it comes to branding or brand identity, a lot of people get confused because we even use it anyhow. Like, please, do you guys do branding? Or do you guys, you know? So what we did at DreamStart Labs, we defined our identity with a guideline, and we started branding, which is the asset, right? Our website, our logo, materials, like stuffs like this is the branding, right? And so part of branding is trademarking.
Yeah.
So that's also something that I had to do, or we had to do for our products, because we're not trademarked. Some of them, most especially the product name, the markings and things like that. So that's also a very important part of branding, guys.
Because a
lot of people don't do that, or they just trademark their company name and that's it. Other things that you have is very good for you to trademark and protect that as well. So trademarking is also something that we worked on during that process.
That usually takes a while to get it approved.
Yeah, like, it's still in the process. So it's not still our name before then, okay? It usually takes like 2 years most of the time to get it finalized.
That's a long, arduous process. 2 years. Okay. So you had a V1. This is taking to like what? I think we have like 22 weeks in total now. We have the first 6 to get to your foundation. See, I'm taking notes too, and I'm learning. So we have the first 6 weeks to get the foundational 2-liner. 6 weeks for 2 lines. I'll trademark that 6 weeks for 2 lines. Then we have a 4-week sprint to get your brand kits, right? To standardize. Okay, this is primary colors, secondary colors, all of that, right? Then we have 6 weeks for prototyping and like initial designs, right? They now have 6 weeks for the development of a V1 of the site itself. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, go on.
So now we have rebranded. We have this product logo. We have this name change. Oh, I forgot to mention. So part of the branding as well, we had to had our naming nomenclature because
that's very important.
Yeah, we have so many products in the bank and coming out as well. So I had to like define the naming nomenclature. So we had to like change a product name. So we changed DreamSave Insights, which is what our partners, NGO partners, used to track the performance of the savings group, to DreamInsights, because our new nomenclature, basically, our product name starts with Dream and ends with what the product speaks to.
Yeah,
so it's
you can't have DreamSave and also Insights. It's a bit confused. Yeah, I get
so
that.
So we did that as well. So obviously there's a name change somewhere. There's a new, when people say, oh, new logo, I said, no, there is no new logo. This is just the logo. Like, we never had a logo, guys. So,
I mean, but technically it is new.
I know. So we have this product logo for Insight, for DreamSave, and for DreamLink as well. So how do we communicate this? And I don't know if I already mentioned, we're B2B2C model, but our end users, we don't call them users, by the way, but I can't say end members, but end users are members, right?
Yeah.
And they are very spotty, low connectivity areas. Most of them don't even have smartphones. And so the beauty of DreamSave is that every group just need one smartphones.
Oh, okay. What's one smartphone that's needed? Okay.
Yeah, for their meetings. And we even had like over the years where people learn to use smartphones through their interaction with DreamSave, because most of them have never used.
That's a byproduct you probably never considered.
No, most of them have never used a smartphone. So how do we communicate this rollout? People are used to seeing this droplet shape.
Yeah, you've not changed like what's going on.
Like what's
and
going
it's hard to
even
build trust a lot in those areas.
It's not even about trust alone. Some of them are looking for the app right in front of them. Like, I can't find my DreamSave app.
So it's like what they're used to, like instinct.
So what they're used to, and suddenly we have this box icon somewhere. They're going to get confused. So how do we roll this out? So I think branding, actually for our sector, branding is very important, but the rollout is just as important, especially when you're dealing with digitally vulnerable people.
Yeah.
Right. So I would say that the biggest tension for me was not even the branding itself, because I enjoy the parts.
So like you're in your element.
So how do I get people to accept
the rebrand,
especially the end users, right? Our partners, we just have to explain the strategic move.
It's easier
behind that. So, but how do we communicate with these guys? Some of them don't have internet. Some of them, even the phone that they use, they have to get it from someone to use. So how do we communicate to them? How do we prepare them for this chain, and so that we don't overwhelm our customer support with so many tickets? So that's where like the go-to-market strategy comes in. So how do we push this out? So we had to go to the drawing board for that. So
rebrand. That's wow. The rebranding itself is not enough. It's not enough to change stuff. It's not enough to even have fantastic website, a fantastic design, a fantastic approach. you then need to figure out how you're going to roll out, how you're going to communicate with like your stakeholders, right? Not just even internally, like your external stakeholders, like your members and the NGOs, and that's a lot. Definitely not doing this.
Imagine you're used to using an application because they do it a lot, and then maybe you update it, and then you're going to look for, and maybe it was initially black. Let's use Upwork for example. Now it was initially green, and then
at the point like I think it's black now.
Yeah, it's black now, and you're wondering like,
is this the same app? Like,
I'm looking for green because instinctively
looking for green, you can't find it anymore,
and you can't find it. And imagine there is no communication.
Even the Twitter thing too, like it took me a while to get used to
imagine
it.
there is no communication, and these are people that were raised to embrace digital tools, or we are raised with technology. We are raised with technology. So not to talk about people
that are not even used to it at all. So like you're putting another barrier for them to interact.
Exactly. They will just stop using the app. I've been trying not to use this. This NGO partner is telling me to use it, but now I can't find it. So
cool.
Yeah. So we had to like really, because we do a cascaded training method for this group.
Okay.
So we are going to use that same method by doing a cascaded communication plan.
Okay, when you say cascaded communication, can you explain that?
Okay, so
me, I understand. It's just for
so before I go to the communication, I would say, so the way we roll out DreamSave to the groups is we have a TOT model, training of trainers. So we train
people to train people.
Yeah, so we train the NGO partners, their facilitator, then they go to the groups to train them. So we are doing the same thing with this communication. So
that makes sense.
We are communicating with the trainers, to the facilitators, who we then communicate with the groups, and we are communicating in advance, like preparing.
This is coming, so like starts already.
Showing them the changes. Like we created animation of what it looked like before
and what it looks like after.
It's gonna mop into what it looks like now. So just creating that process, the cadence as well. You need to keep telling them, guys,
reminding them, like
this is happening on this date. Watch out for this. This is gonna change. So just creating that process, and even going beyond the cascaded communication, because I want to tie every loose end, because we are in some groups are on WhatsApp, communicate with them directly there, and when customer success reps go to the field, communicate with them as well.
Always make sure that that's being reinforced across multiple channels.
So what we are trying to say is that your rollout plan is very important, because if you don't communicate well, it doesn't matter what you did. If people don't understand, they'll continue to define your brand
as whatever it was before.
Exactly, or whatever it is for them. Yeah.
That is... Sorry, let me load. I'm also giving you time to breathe. That's a lot. That's a lot to take in. You think it's just the rebrand, right? You think it's, okay, hey, let me change the website. Let me bring the teams together. Let me tie in all these threads. And like, coming into like this conversation, like that was where my head was at. My head, I felt like we're just going to talk about like the rebrand. Like, okay, hey, I pulled this thing to do this. I did this like this. We had to get the copy done. We had to do this and all of that. Like, you didn't explain that, but like you didn't even take enough time. I mean, like a lot of time to explain that. It was more like, that's the easy part. Like,
it's like, no problem. That's unfair. Like, you know that
you're going to do all that, but like what you don't know is how to follow through. And I think that is where that missing thread is for a lot of brands that want to do like a rebrand, right? Like most people don't. I didn't even. I'm a marketer. I didn't even like. It didn't click because I haven't done a rebrand before. That like afterwards, like, okay, how do I then communicate this to people? Right, that follow through that.
And I think Rainers did a very good job with that.
Fantastic job. I mean, I really stand. So I'm funny how my friend worked on like the logo. Like I posted like about like the event and like everything they did, and like he like came into my name like I worked on like this kitty, and like I remember seeing part of it on the status at some point in the past, but I didn't know what it was. Like the new that animation, so like wow, that's fantastic.
Their rollout plan was perfect, because what they did was they made their users the storytellers.
Yeah,
because I was going around telling everybody that, do you know, not just because just because of the brilliance of it.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, do you know that these guys changed their name and then
And
the
not
look
only
and
that,
feel.
they tried to put
And
like
do you know
new
how they
features
did
too.
it?
Yeah,
They,
exactly.
like, oh my God, they put everybody together and
Mm-hmm.
said, we are doing this now. I'm telling you, so you go tell
Like
other
you're
people.
like, yeah,
So it was really
just
brilliant. And
amplifies
that's
like
how
that.
to do it, guys. You don't just come and say, so we have this new website, we have this new logo, so we are telling you, because that's what some brand think is enough to just inform
Some
and
people are
say,
like, yeah, this was
okay,
happening.
so we have changed our name and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to take people through the process
Yeah.
and just make
Bit
sure
by
that
bit.
they've accepted it and they're in sync with it.
And I think what really tied it together was that, imagine they crystallized the product updates with like a physical event. They brought people a free physical event. They brought people everywhere. So they had a mixer for like people that have been with them from day ones, their creators. And I attended mixer. I saw people and I learned about like the plans for the product. So like they included people in the process, and then had the event, had the big review, had sessions, had people vibing and grooving, and like it stuck. So like immediately after the event, like in my head it's like, okay, when do I get this update? Like what's up? And they rolled it out like immediately afterwards. I think the very next week we're already saying, go and update your app, go and do this, go and like everything rolled out. And they didn't overwhelm as well. It's very important. They rolled out like all the new products within that, like they rolled it out like in bits. So like, okay, first we had this one, then we had this new one, then we had this one, and like now we're getting like some other stuff. So it's really good. I don't want to get into nitty-gritty because that's not what we're talking about here, but it's also such another good case study. Yeah,
that's the difference between a brand that just builds for people and builds with people.
Yeah, so people are the sender. So most brands is like, hey, they are doing this one, like, okay, let's not slap people on top. But like here, people are informing how you build, and it's even like reminiscent of like how you explain how your founder came up with like DreamSave in when he was in Tanzania for 2 years. Actually being in the rooms with these people and like building with them. That's hard to do.
And eating their food as well, because they're not used to.
You're emphasizing eating their food.
And you're not used to. And I also think just understanding who your personas are, your stakeholders are, is really important when you're doing a rebrand and communicating it. I know we are not speaking to what Rainers did, but they really understand who their users are.
Yeah, even
mostly
the
young
sequence
people,
of
even like the events, they knew that okay, this is how to connect and pull.
And even before, stuff on Twitter, X Spaces, and just doing things to drive and pull all that together. I think it's so
it's really important. See, you want to do a rebrand, or it's good that you're trying to define what your organization is, what the people that work in your organization stand for. But it's also important for you to work on how you communicate that to your stakeholders, your end users. I think that is even more important because the essence of rebrand or branding is to
communicate something to people.
To establish that perception that you have about your brand. And if you don't communicate it right,
then how would they get it?
Then it's meaningless actually.
So like all that pre-work is just poof.
For what? Just want to show you that our website is fine. Look at it.
So interesting. So what I've heard from this is the hardest part of a rebrand is not the rebrand. It's the communication that comes afterwards.
The rollout,
That's wow. Okay, that's cool. That's
just like when you want to put a product in the market, you think it's building it. It's getting people to
actually use it. Yeah. It's even going back to like when people say, "Oh, there's a gap in the market," but is there a market inside that gap? How people actually adopt the product? That's fantastic. Let's do a bit of a retro.
Yeah.
So, retro speaking. So you've done the rebrand now. You are doing rollouts. You've already started rollouts and things are popping up. I love it for you guys. What would you have done? And I know this is such a cliche question, and I'm sorry, I'm going to ask. Like, it's in my list, so you can't beat me. Yeah, like, what would you have, like, looking back, like they say, what's that thing? Hindsight is good, but like foresight is better. But so looking forward, in case I don't think you ever have to do that soon, you just rebranded, but who knows? What do you think you'd have done differently? What do you think that, hey, this probably shouldn't have taken this long, could have cut this down a bit? Like, what would you change?
So I would say that one thing I would have changed is working on the rollout plan earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're so focused on the rebrand itself.
Yeah.
So when it got to that point, it was like, so much pressure. Like we need to get this right, not having enough time to sit in it and just really make. I mean, we still made really great strategy and stuff, but not enough time. So I think that when you're doing a rebrand, as you're working on your rebrand, start thinking about your rollout side by side. Right, it's
so it should be
something,
part and parcel, not like an afterthought that,
so
like,
it's
I've
not,
done this.
as I'm working on this, start picturing, so how do we communicate this to people?
And that can even inform the rebranding itself. Like, I think this would be too hard to communicate to people, so let's like do this
so
instead.
when they see this, would they really understand what? So I think that's, one thing that I would have done better.
Okay. If you had like a hierarchy of like, and you've explained this, but like I just wanted to hit home because like this is like a retro, right? We're trying to get to the crux of everything. What are like 3 pillars you would say like you hope and are currently like seeing like the rebrand being like or achieving for you? So to bring it down, like 3 things you say that like this is what I aimed for the rebrand to do. You've spoken about some of these things, but like I want you to rank it like in a hierarchy of like top 3 things, and like have you started seeing some of that already? I know it's still early, right? But like, have you already started seeing some of those results? So that's a 2-part question for you.
Okay, so for the rebrand itself, I would say 3 stages, and I think this applies to every organization. I don't know what book you're reading, but this is my playbook, guys. So I would say that discovery is the first phase. Discovering what the problem is, if there is a problem, or if it's just like we just need to update our look and feel to match the level of maturity that our organization presently has, or maybe we're trying to pivot to another space and we think that we need this new identity or something to match that. So discovering that, I say the first one, then definition, which is basically the whole identity, blah, 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 blah. And the third one is implementation, right? Developing your websites and then rollout, obviously.
Implementation, rollout is part and parcel. So like in terms of like achievement, like, one of the things you mentioned was like you hope that the rebrand communicated something, right? So I'm guessing that's at the top of your list, right? In terms of what you wanted the rebrand to achieve. So one was to communicate a perceived value or a perceived identity to your stakeholders. So that's one. What would 2 other things in that list be?
We don't want this rebrand to change our brand, because that's the perception.
That's an interesting take.
Yeah, because that's the experience that people have when they interact. And they have a very solid interpretation of what our brand is, which is basically standard of excellence. They create excellent products. They are good people. They put people at the center of their work. They are really chilled. Things like that.
They're really chilled. It's an interesting thing.
They have fun at work. Even in meetings.
You have mentioned that fun at work, so I said, we'll have a conversation after.
So even in meetings, it's not like one board meeting and like we are good people, and just the standard of excellence.
If you're bad people, would you tell me?
Not really, but
fair enough.
So it's not like we're not trying to change our brand. We are trying to define our positioning, because the brand, it's not the problem, it's the positioning. So people like the experience of their brand or of our brand, and they like the quality or the things that they get when they interact with our brand. But they're not sure where to put the brand. Like, okay, what type of organization is this? So we are trying to get that positioning aligned with the brand experience, right? So DreamStart Labs is a social impact financial technology organization. We are not an NGO. We are not an FSP. We are not giving charity money. We are not a philanthropy platform. We're a social impact, fintech, IT, infrastructure technology organization, guys. And that's what we are, and that's what we want to communicate, right? That's at the top of the list. And when they interact with our products, we want them to, but they already feel that.
So
Like,
they want to retain that feeling,
yeah, exactly.
but change that general positioning.
Yeah, positioning.
Yeah. So you want like an end user to be able to say, oh, DreamStart Labs, they do this, or at least give their interpretation of that, but not associate you with like NGOs or FSPs.
It should be very clear that
we work with these people, but we are not people.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then the third one, obviously, like visibility.
Yeah.
Right? Come and see us. Come and look at us. We are popping. We know our stuff and things like that. And just to get more thought leadership in the space, because we have amazing products and we also have amazing relationships with our partners. But we don't have so much visibility in terms of that. And when you do a rebrand like that and it really reflects the quality of your work, of your product, visibility is earned. Well, when you work in that direction, it's earned. And just for us to become thought leaders in this space, because we are the big, bad, and bold. We are creating a savings group ecosystem, and not a lot of people
actually building for the
doing that. And we are the first in our sector, like DreamStart Labs. We have like over 35,000 groups digitized on the platform. We have close to 800,000 members using the application, and we are currently exploring linkage to financial service providers.
That's DreamLink.
Yeah, DreamLink is currently piloting, and not a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I when we spoke the other day, like I remember mentioning that, like that link, if I like that is what really clicked for me. Like I understood every other thing like pretty like easily, but like when I came, I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Like that's like the missing thread. Like
data is a new engine. Yeah.
Fair.
Data is a new engine, and we need to start embracing it. And also, I think that people need to stop treating the excluded as CSR. Like, oh, we are doing social good, because they're actually pretty good economic actors.
Yeah.
Like what they do on our platform alone, you've had over $25 million transactions on the platform. People saving together.
Yeah.
Do you know if
that's
you know how
that's an actual impact?
Yeah. So you know how much that can translate into the economy. So we need people to start seeing these people as economic actors, not like, oh, so we want to help these people or want to improve their life. No, they're not. You're not improving their life. They're improving the economy alongside you. And we need to like start changing the narrative. And I think that's what we are doing right now.
I feel like I should have like a track that just goes. Well done. Well, no, that's good. That's a good retro. That's a good closing. I think I had initially I had like 56 questions in my mind prepared, but I told Azar, how do you want to do these questions? But like we trimmed that down and all, and like, but I can definitely say we'll be able to go through most of it. I don't think I have a question. If you guys have comments, you understand. But like, I think I have any questions about like a rebrand. I mean, you won't catch me doing a rebrand anytime soon, Sha. It's hard work. But like, I don't think
you need it. Your brand speaks for itself.
Thank you. Kudos to all of you here. Thank you so much. But yeah, it's just such like an amazing thing when you're able to start something, like have that full view and like deliver. Most people it's easy to find someone that's a very good systems thinker, so you have the full view, and it's easy to find someone that's a good, executor day to day, but like it's hard to find both. And I think you need both threads for every brand. You need that strategic vision of like, how all of this going to play? How would the rollout play along with the actual rebrand? They need like day-to-day execution, following up on all of that. To close off, how large was the team that worked on this? How many people in total worked on this? Yes, you can count your CEO because he gave you like the foundational statement. Everybody. So it was a team effort.
Yes, everybody worked. Every single person at DreamStart Labs worked
on the rebrand.
On the rebrand, because every single decision was made based on interaction with every member. So
in a way, everybody was part of the rebrand.
So you want to work on a rebrand for your organization, and this is where lots of people get it wrong. Not even rebrand, normal branding. You see people say, oh, I'm starting this business, I'm doing this thing. Okay, we are going to look for a marketing company that does branding. So they go to meet them and say, okay, so this is what I do, blah, blah, blah. And this is the product or service I'm rendering. So create a brand guideline for me.
Without actually talking to the people behind that thing, or that makes sense.
So you actually need to sit with your people, sit with your stakeholders as well, because that would inform how people experience your brand. And if you are new, speak to your friends.
Mhm.
Like, make them your stakeholders, have
Yeah.
conversation with them, or speak to people online. We have platforms where you can do this these
Yeah.
days, just to inform and make sure that you are defining your brand,
Yeah.
right? And just to speak to what you said earlier about like better review and whatnot.
Mhm.
When I was when we were working on the website, I'm very in deep.
Mhm.
I mean, I came out with the PRD, the design, everything. So there are some things that I would not be able to see.
Yeah.
Right. So it's team effort. You need people when you are in, you need someone to
Someone
be
like
out.
to give perspective.
Exactly.
Like, have we considered
And
this? Yeah.
exactly, and you need to listen as well.
Mhm.
I mean, they might not have the technical expertise that you do, but they are the ones that are going to experience it.
Yeah.
So you always have to
Listen.
to people. Most
Okay.
of the time, yeah.
I think that's been great. I genuinely appreciate you taking the time to walk us through this. It's a pretty strategic rebrand. Like, it's amazing. We hope to see more of DreamStart Labs out there, and from your energy here, I know we're definitely
You're
going
gonna
to see
see more, guys. See, watch this space, like they say. You guys are not ready.
They're doing really good, not just social good, like, but actual impact, and the sort of impact that's not just helping people, but actually recognizing, even the unbanked as like actual economic actors, which people need to start doing.
Yeah.
All right. So it's been really wonderful conversation. If people want to reach out to you, maybe for branding tips, for those types of things, how can they best reach out to you? Are you still LinkedIn?
Yeah, you can. I try my best. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn at Omotola Sanni. I guess you can put that.
I know, don't worry.
You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I think that's the major place you can.
That's a major. So anywhere else,
me.
Okay, she'll air you if anywhere else. Just LinkedIn. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching our pilot episode of Behind the Build. It's been amazing having this conversation. I can't wait to have more. If you guys would like us to bring Omotola back for something else, maybe let us know. Just put it in the comments. I think this is a conversation worth unpacking even more. But I personally have gained a lot, right? So I hope, in the true nature of a rebrand, you are able to not just get the initial phase of the execution right, but you're able to follow through with communication and like carrying stakeholders along. Till our next episode you watch, this has been Behind the Build with Content Connect.